It's Family Talk on Empire 102.7 FM. My name is Akofa Cranston, and my co-host, Mr. T, is right here. And our guest, our special guest, Mr. T. Let me leave that for you again.
This is the maiden show,
right?
And I'm excited with the guest we have.
I'm popping the balance.
Yes, we have to. And we want to talk about something very special today. So we have to look for somebody very special. We have a clinical psychologist with us. He's also a medical doctor. He's a marriage counselor. And he's a director of the University of Professional Studies in Accra. And he's joined us for us to have a discussion on parenting and childhood development. He's no other than Dr. Isaac Newman Arthur.
Right.
And he's right here with us.
Doc, welcome.
And to all the fans, it's not true.
I was telling him, I said,
fans crowd.
Fans crowd. That's why I'm a lecturer so come home.
Oh yeah.
What's some performance? He's
a lecturer.
Yes. So
all you will feel in here. All you will feel in here, Johnson.
One market person. Let's be pardoned. Right, so Doc, welcome, and we've been looking forward to today's discussion. Mr. T and I were just recollecting growing up, how families raise kids, and it's just been grace we've turned up, because getting to learn some of the things we got to learn during our counseling lectures and learning around, we get to realize that there's so much into parenting. There is so much, and our parents did their best based on what they knew, and we also did and still doing what we know. And I think it's a good time to learn. It's not too late for even, I said, those with empty nest to also pick up something and pass it on to their grannies and families as well. So we're looking forward to today's discussion.
Exactly. But Doc, let me first find out, how was your night in town?
Oh, I think Takrady is basically maybe my third town.
Yeah.
So Accra, Cape Coast, Takrady. So
right.
I'm tending to like this place.
I remember him saying one time that he loves octopus a lot. Doc, I noticed that one.
That one is true. This morning, everything you've said about me, it's only that one that is true.
We've got a plus for, as I've said.
Exactly. Right. At least the grades will change. But Doc, let's zoom into the subject. How would you classify the stages in childhood development?
Okay, so if anybody would have to pay attention to anything, it should be about how a child is raised. One of the places I go to that is very distressing for me is so it's University of Professional Studies Medical Directorate.
Oh, okay.
Not the whole of the university.
Okay.
We have a vice chancellor, Professor Abednego Fehi Amati, an amazing man. So University of Professional Studies, the medical directorate and the director. But one of the areas that I think every person should pay attention to is how a child is raised. And I said one of the distressing events for me is naming ceremony.
Really?
Because that child can become anything. See, anybody who is not doing well in life had a naming ceremony. And it should be if you meet someone and let's say respectfully, I'm using respectfully, maybe it's an armed robber, like a Sebio, the person had a naming ceremony. If you meet anybody, Oshana Brabaye Basa, and I say beyond them Kwan, there was a naming ceremony. It should be so Oriazi or Abrabuma. So there was a naming ceremony. So the child that we are naming can become anything. The difference is who handles the child. That is the difference. And that is dangerous. It means that you can raise a child to become anything. Because adults are a reflection of their childhood. Any adult that you meet was a child. And the goal of childhood is adulthood. And the goal of adulthood basically is marriage. Because marriage opens door to even fulfilling your purpose in life. Inti onye de bia ako university, you've gone to a university or a bia ako abe a professor and abe a doctor. You know, what would really distinguish you is marriage. So the goal of childhood is adulthood. The goal of adulthood is marriage. Ultimately, the rest comes along, even fulfilling your assignment in life. Without a good marriage, forget it. A lot of people think they can live a very single life and still achieve God's purpose with their lives. It's a lie.
Really?
It's a big lie. Because if marriage wasn't important, God wouldn't have introduced it. The concept of marriage is divine. It's not an earthly construct. Onye nyimpa osheda kitchen baby arrange. It is God who introduced that concept because he analyzed a situation. And when he created Adam in the garden, he looked at him. He always expressed some desirable comment about his creation. He created the trees, everything, animal, everything is good. And the Lord God saw, and it was good. He created the sun, the moon, and the Lord God saw, and it was good. But the moment it came to Adam, that he had created, and that situation he created around Adam, God himself, the first time he expressed a displeasure about his creation was that Adam was by himself. He was alone. Because walking through life, human beings, even divine beings, are not created to be alone. It's not in our nature to be alone. We cannot function alone. You need someone to accompany you through life to fulfill that assignment. Adam had an assignment, yet because he had a problem, he was alone. There was nobody who is comparable. That's what goes in Genesis chapter 2. There's no one who is comparable to him. The 18th verse will talk about the fact that, and the Lord God saw that it wasn't good for the man to be. He saw, it's God. Can you imagine? God creating something and turning around and say, no, this one there, I made a mistake. And how did he do that? See, Adam had God, yet there was a gap in his life. Someone like him to accompany him to fulfill that assignment. And God couldn't occupy that gap. Can you imagine? A whole God could not be enough for Adam. So how did God fix it? You see, Adam didn't know that he needed a helper. He didn't know. He didn't know he needed. It was God who said you need one. Why? Even God is 3 in 1. Even God has innumerable company of angels. Can you imagine? Jesus walked on earth. He had people who, he actually needed around to be able to fulfill that assignment. Why didn't he come and do it alone? So we're born to relate. We're born to be with others, to be able to progress. Yesterday, our sharing mental health authority had this Zoom meeting. We're talking about loneliness. Loneliness kills. Loneliness, is a risk factor for diseases. Your brain actually ages faster when you are lonely. So how did God fix it? He created a companion. And that companion was to be to Adam what he, God, could not be to Adam. So the place of a woman in the life of a man, even God cannot occupy. It's as simple as that. And I'm saying this because everybody who is marrying, right, was once a child. And whatever happens to them makes them either fit for marriage or not. There are 3 categories of adults based on childhood events, right? We have the damaged, we have the developed, and we have the depraved. Every adult you see, based on how we were raised as a child, the person is either damaged, depraved, or developed. The damaged ones are the ones that from Abrabono, childhood ankoye. Either they have been abused or neglected, or mameno wansheni into one kasano, emotionally they are damaged. They cannot trust. They have a poor self-identity. Every time childhood things wankoye. You see, so they are the ones who are very, very bitter people. Very, very, they can't trust. They are overly jealous. They are overly angry, and all those negative things that people express is a sign that there's a problem within them. You meet an angry person, it's not you. He is angry with himself. There is some gap in his life that is still not free because of childhood things. Then the depraved are the ones who are not correct. They have no values system. They have no principles. Nothing. And it's also because of childhood development. And it starts around a certain age. I'm sure when we go to the stages, I'll talk about it. So they say if you put the devil side by side, if the devil will win. Because there are people who have accepted that one, as for they don't care. Then we have the developed. The developed are the ones who have actually had good parenting. Or even if there was no parent, one person along the line will pick lessons be. They've actually learned a lot about life. And they are the ones who are matured people. They are stable people. They have principles in life, and they know what life is. They are the developed, and they are the ones who can marry safely. But all of them, it depends on who is handling them, and that is why parenting and childhood development is so important. Because every adult you see is a product of a certain influence from someone. Even abusers. If you find a man who is abusing the wife. Abusers are not raised overnight. They are raised daily from childhood. Whatever you are doing to a child, you're making him a loving husband or loving wife, or an abusive husband or abusive. And that is why this is so critical. I get scared. Anytime I see a child, I'm scared. I'm telling you. I get so scared. But if you see a child in the company of a very responsible adult, you know that you've actually saved it. And it's in the Bible, Proverbs chapter 23 verse 6. It says, train up a child in the way you should go. And when he grows up, he will not depart from it. You see, so we all go through, kids go through various stages of development, right from the womb. Our friend, development is in 4 areas: physical, mental, social, and spiritual. So kids grow physically. So you see them increase in weight and height. They grow mentally, how they think, how they feel, and how they behave. So you see a child grow mentally. Socially, how they relate with others, culture, tradition, finance, work, all those things, the interaction with others, relationships, social. Then spiritual. On look at spiritual, I'm sure everybody knows what spiritual is. Their worldview, belief systems, quest for self-actualization, purpose issues, relationship with God, and those things. And depending on your religion, you have all kinds of varieties, right? So, before you realize, you see them physically, they grow quickly. From the womb, right from the womb, everything starts developing very, very quickly. By the time Nani weight maybe at 2.5, 2.8 kg, 3 kg, that 3.8, that kind of thing. You see the child, now there's a neck control. Maybe raising mukakra, bono watna or rian or nanton or. Whilst you see them grow physically, mentally too they are growing, but you don't know. Because most of the things parents do, they actually focus on the physical development of the child. And that is what they can see. But Afrobana so mentally no. Ringing. You can mental. And you say you someone who is mad on the street. But how they think, how they feel, and how they behave. Those 3 things. And they are growing. But unfortunately, a lot of parents don't know what they do that affects the mental growth of the child, and the social development and spiritual development. And these 4 areas are important because if that child does not grow well in these 4 areas, there will be gaps in their functioning. Physically, Mentally, they have to grow. Socially, they have to grow. And spiritually too, they have to grow. So that they can be balanced. And you may meet someone, why opinion? Very, very, very pretty girl. Like the one I'm seeing in the studio. Oh no, it's stray bullet. But it's a good bullet.
Very, very good bullet.
Very, very pretty. Very, very nice. You can meet someone in town, very pretty. But behind that beauty, it's a whole person. Mentally, socially, spiritually. Sometimes you go wedding and guy in washing suit, nice one. Mohammed washing the gown, nice one. But behind that, what you see, it's a whole person who grew from somewhere, mentally, socially. So there are people who physically they are okay, but they are damaged. It is sometimes they go wedding. Sometimes between two damaged people trying to marry. Hey, on the man, you did this, you didn't do this. You did like that. It's all about how they feel. Sometimes it's between a damaged person and a depraved person. On the man, there is nothing good there. Baby body biya boom marriage. Sometimes you see a developed person marrying a damaged person. In Taubandama, our you develop you drag the person along there. Bibi ka creep the point no cry. My phone because the person is damaged. So physically, no, you see them and they grow physically when you feed them. They will just grow. You know, if you have to do anything, they will grow. But mentally and socially, food is for physical growth. If they are not getting sick, they grow well physically. But the food for mental or social growth is also three. Right? Love, warmth, and acceptance. Love, warmth, and acceptance. Anything a parent does that is not based on these three, your child will develop well. Love, warmth, and acceptance. Love in there, love is a state is also expressed. BBRA my fraba or my fraba feel it there. And kids actually interpret love differently. Based on care, whatever you do with them. So let me give you an example. First show of love that helps a child develop emotionally is breastfeeding. Into Alpha Fraban is that to Wakokodo. No, holding that child close to you. Also, inside play with you. Sometimes about you we can cry. Maybe listen or start or buy you buy too small. Those things that kids do with their mother is where they are interpreting that as warmth, love. It starts the emotional development of the child. Into every children who are not being breastfed. Now the educational system is messing things up. Crèche. 3 months, 2 months, no academic to crèche. A child interprets that as abandonment. Because suddenly Okadawa obey film until no obedidi. No be the feeding bottle be or that. They actually read all these things because it's the experience, the first experience. In now reading, you know, you see, yeah, papa, after that to walk on, it plays up and airtonium. They are interpreting that as love, warmth. And that is why kids actually know they are babies, but they recognize things, kakra. So a stranger, they may not go to a stranger. Why? Because they are used to a certain love, care from a certain person, and that is their safe place. So their emotional security and development starts from there. So if you are a father and you neglect your baby, they develop some emotional attachment to the mother and not the father. Into why opinion, but there's no emotional connection because you abandon a whilst in that vulnerable state. A child is growing. Another experience all my afrobani well no through the stages is play. Every child that is not playing is not growing. Because whilst they are navigating their way through many things, they are learning. Why do you know connections? No, the brain is a virgin land. Whatever you feed it is what it becomes. There are all kinds of neural connections with the brain. Into the child, on your from what is in common? They are playing. They pick this, they put it here. They are running. Now, kakra, kakra. Then they are learning how to manage their own emotions. The child is developing. When we were younger, there was this statement: all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Very, very true. So parents who are not allowing their kids to play, you are damaging them. And your educational system again is destroying kids. Oko school 8, upon 4, obey 10 assignments. And the minimum of from a baby. Also have to do my homework. Yeah, baby free. As in free, like
relax and then just enjoy the
what's homework? One man homework. Into the whole day, the child, you are building their IQ and how smart they can be, but there will be gaps in the other aspect of their, because we have four IQs, four intelligence. We have IQ, intelligence quotient. I want to show you how you can remember your cognitive ability, whether you're smart or not. Then we have the EQ, emotional intelligence, emotional development, EQ. Then again, we have the SQ, social intelligence. And I add the fourth one, spiritual intelligence. You need all that. I think let me mention the scripture because I even forget. Luke chapter 2, verse 52. And Jesus grew in wisdom, which is mental, in stature, which is physical, in favor with God, which is spiritual, and favor with all people, that is social. So Jesus grew in the 4 areas. That's why he was super, right? So, Oko school. Now we could share IQ. Now they don't even do these games and stuff in school.
We were talking about it. The childhood
development. Once a week be in all games. So you will raise a professor who is not correct. You will raise a doctor who on your papa. Why is smart? But other aspect of the life into 4 over 8 over 4 p.m. Wake new assignment like that. Na erase weekend other modi zagrono extra classes. You are damaging your child. And remember when your extra classes be our baby out. No, because you see, you are developing the total them. Right. Into weekend, the first thing you tell your child of school beban is to go and play. But by 1 hour be 2 hours blown kids are go okay in ufi. Na ombre fi. Na obapa obo chuchu nyemum kra ojuchu. Obe na assignment but na assignment. Because you are developing the total person. Into all the Montessori schools, international schools in Azeno. One problem in Mofromano, one issue the same. They have a house but not a home. Most of these rich people are one man Montessori in this now, Montessori this now, as you know, a US, international school. Look at what's happening in the US and the UK and those places. Look at their kids.
Yeah.
When you're papa,
they are like cycles.
Yeah, they are smart, but there's a gap. If there are a lot of people in the US and stuff. Now what they're doing is that they bring their kids to Africa, raise them to some point before they send them back. Because it was a seminar also. A child will just pick a gun, go to a school, go shoot all of them.
Yeah.
And that's what is happening to our schools. These Montessori schools now, as you know, it's like you meet a certain kind of kids who have a internal school. Own kids are group on one man tablet, and I need them. There's a TV. Into one or sha, but forgetting that this girl or this boy, you are raising them to fit a certain social space. And the you have problems. Into play is so important. So the first thing you tell your child when they come back from their house, from school, is to go and play. No extra classes on the weekends. Unless academically no. And you there he has a very big problem. Big problem. Our friend there no. Obey he has some extra, studies be. Ono krampo ne nyani pinyan dodo. Otherwise, you are not developing your child totally. So play, very, very important. Then again, to comparing one child with another child, you are destroying them. You don't compare your child with any child. Not even use him as an example for other kids. Because the moment you compare your one child with another child, you are damaging their self-image. Because every child is different. On your or maths, or drawing, your child is different. And the fact that your child is not performing well does not mean you have to compare that child with another child. Already now they know that they are not doing well in school. So comparing them, you're actually at a brother. And in Tibonese, sometimes they grew up and as in painful, they don't like themselves. And they don't even know why they don't like themselves. They've been compared right from childhood. And a parent choosing one child over the other child. And the more you compare them, the more rebellious they become.
That's true.
Into why opinion poor self-image. Into guy be and a girl be almost feel good about themselves when what I cannot do. A lot of kids will end up in all kinds of relationships and all those things. It's because they found someone who, for the first time, makes them feel good about themselves. Because all that are compare. That's what happened to Jacob and Esau. The Bible says that, I think in is it Genesis 25 or so, 26 that was, Esau was an outdoor person. Onupe. And that's his temperament. He's an extrovert. Into open, okay, hunting as it. And even the father liked him because of the meat. But Jacob, the Bible says, a friend and Rebecca loved. Is it Rebecca? Yes, Rebecca loved Jacob for who he was, because he was an introvert. The Bible says he was always dwelling in tents. In turn, they be out in fear. And parents are likely to pick kids with special qualities and things that their parents they like. Every other child who exhibits anything different is either a bad boy, a bad girl, or something. But you see, kids go through stages. Sometimes Afraba now is all over the place, Now in Penasem, the one later on, usually those kids turn out to be greater than those who are even, so every child and there. So comparing one child with another child, you are destroying their self-image. It's a very, very negative thing that parents do. So whoever the child is, have a conversation with that child alone. The Uba or a baby named Pa, man could show a Bisiano, and I go and look. No, just talk to him as an individual. Even sometimes don't use other people's kids as an example to your own kids. You are damaging them. They grow up, they hate themselves. They don't like it. My mommy has never, said anything good about me. Look at my brother. And I be when you do that, you are pushing them more into behaviors that they don't even want to be. Addictions and all those things, our friend and again to any form of abuse, whether physical or verbal or emotional or neglect. Any abuse destroys the child. The words you use at the child, everything you tell a child affects their development. Every information you give to a child, whatever they're seeing at home, whether mommy is expressing love to the father or not, or insulting the father or not. There was this child. I was so sad. The father and mother are always fighting. Right? And the kids are always watching it. And the child, so wait, is a 7 or 8. Doesn't understand. So she feels abused when the father abuses the mother. So she's actually taking the mother's abuse as her own. Because so by maybe Sunday, has anybody abused you before? Us said no. But my daddy abuses my mom. And them abuse one Jaffa, then Neza. And it's sometimes she go and hide somewhere and cry. Now what she's doing is that she now watches movies that are not real. You know, those fiction movies, sci-fi movies, either those galaxy kind of movies and comfort travel, because when she watches those movies, she pictures herself in that movie away from reality.
Right. It take her to this world.
It's like a fairyland. So, romantic books, those things that is an escape for her. So she lives in that unreal world in order to numb her from feeling the pain, because the reality is painful. Now, what is happening to her now is that, unfortunately, she went to watch a horror movie. Now, horror movie, no. Now she cannot escape into the horror movie. Now the images of the horror movie has become her life. Until she can't go into normal places, public places.
It's hunting her.
It's hunting her. So now, where she can even escape to has become scary. So she's trapped between the abuse at home and the horror movies. She's having panic attacks. I remember when she came to office, she was just looking around. There's something. She's lost her childhood. Imagine that there's no intervention. Not a rabbi or kowar.
Wow. Let me just chip in our WhatsApp line. Is 0577 001 027 0577 001027. You're still on Empire 102.7 FM, and the program is Family Talk. Mr. T, it's I've been quiet. Did you see me writing?
And this is just the introduction. We have Dr. Isaac Newman Atta, and there's so much we are taking in from parenting and childhood development. But you said something about play. I want a bit of clarification there. With the play, now we were even talking about it. We used to do some kind of outdoor games and plays when we were young. The ampes, the footballs, the chaskeles, the one with the one they mentioned later. What was the name? But now the kids of today, they don't do all that. Now it's all about phones, it's all about laptops, it's all about tablets and things like that. Can we also describe that as play?
So play has to be an interaction with others. Play becomes beneficial when a child interacts with another child. So the kind of play they have now is not play. It's just entertainment. Right? It's not play. Play means that the other kids that you are playing with. So a parent would have to be intentional about that. That, may locate him from me area. I've introduced them to my kids. And so every time, if they come back from school, we do that a lot. Until now, my kids cry, they ever used to. The moment they come back from school, no, Daddy, can I go and play? It's an important question to me. Tell them, they'll go right now. And when you're there 1 hour, 2 hours, into one wood, then they'll come home. It's become the norm. So play, tablets, no. Because tablets is just entertainment. And addiction to tablets and stuff too can create a lot of problems for them. They are learning and everything. Right? And that's why I'm saying that. You see, if you go to all those international schools, the kids have peculiar. May I go around? So I know, Papa. The kids have similar problems because of that gap in their lives. Yeah. And initially, I think I forgot this point about another important thing too with their growth is when you don't allow your child to become what they were born to become. And you force them to become what you think they should become. And what it means is that after baby it will dream. Desire nyamida shena kumema. Eraze pedo ye wa brabom. Intie bia owo odo a fashion designer. So when you monitor your child, every parent should monitor their child to find out what they can naturally do. That is what God wants them to do. Unfortunately, now we have a lot of careers that does not look at the person's abilities. Right? It's just the money and our what do you call it? I'll say fake competence. Because you can become anything that you study. The fact that you study something does not mean that's what you were born to become. And for example, be a bank or a more bank, or you know, or but you can learn to be a very, very good banker. That doesn't mean that is your space. In Tebia Obano, instead now, you know that big guy, maybe you open drawing power, another electrical power, you know. If you are very, very observant, your role is to help them grow in that area. You know, if you look at the Proverbs chapter 23 verses, train up a child in the way he should go. Amplified version actually stretches a bit. Train up a child in the way he should go, into bracket, teaching him to seek God's wisdom and will for his abilities and talents. Even when he's old, he will not depart from it. So your role as a parent is to be able to steady your child and help your child grow in that area. Instead of saying that, oh, I would you may be any had in town a BNS. And a nurse for the year, being a jumantum. Another, the Mazia Pede is a Ghana is only you. Another, you are destroying your child because they are forcing to become what they were not born to become. They become dysfunctional. Okay, you must only discuss in sometimes, you know, boy, you know, or you're smart doesn't mean you're a doctor. Another or a lawyer. Oh, yeah, the doctor be in here to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, our house, we don't have any lawyer, so you be the lawyer. Meanwhile, the person has to be a fashion designer or an architect. Sometimes you go to the hospital and you meet this doctor. You've not done anything to him yet. He's angry. He's not supposed to be there. You go to the classrooms. There are some teachers who were not born to be teachers.
Yeah.
But circumstances have forced them to become teachers. And those teachers, the way they relate to the students is totally different from people who were born teachers. See, they are teachers. All of us have some teachers we would always remember.
Yeah.
Because they were so different from the others.
Yeah.
Those people are the ones who were born to be there. Unfortunately, out of convenience and money and stuff like that, you find a lot of people assuming certain careers that they were not born for. And that will create problems for them. They cannot rise well. You see? So that is also another area I think I forgot that actually damages a child. Yes.
Well spelled out. Let's go into the stages of the children right now.
Okay, so we have different levels of growth. We have the cognitive development and sexual development. Right? We have social development, but we have various stages. Before 2 years is one stage.
Okay. That is 0 to 2.
0 to 2 is one stage. That one they have to move. They grow by movement.
I see.
And touching. Into one day, after baby, any child before 2 years, you know, their senses they actually explore their senses. Everything they want to see. They are moving. They are touching. Baby and inspiration in colors nazi. So if you want your child to grow very well in that stage, create a lot of play and variety for that child. And sometimes you even need a backyard playground or maybe an game is a toys nazi. It's very important. It helps them develop. Right? So the more they touch, the more they move, the more they grow. And one of the things Africans will do that actually stifles that growth is when you put your child at your back.
Oh, really?
Abonodo. Until the Afro be a initiate channel. Odum be I don't know obesan. It's a sign, but usually you don't want them to worry you, so you just tie them at your back. They have to move. And movement, you know, sometimes create a safe room or safe place and just leave them. Everybody will move now, will touch Bibiana, you careless nazi, because that's what creates the brain connections well at that time. Movement. And they have to move. So that's the first stage. Then the second stage, the pre-operational stage, where between 2 and 6 years, around that time, it's more of symbolism and associations with things. Right? So imagery nazi. So what it means is that around that stage, they have to, what do you call it? Unless they see, they don't understand. And that is where play and stuff is important. Now, Erica, apple, you have to show them an apple. When you're talking about an elephant, you have to show them an elephant because they actually pair things and they are able to understand. by imagery, by symbolism, by associations. In a teacher, you have to show them a teacher. You talk about the pen, you have to show them a pen. Otherwise, they will not grow well. They won't understand. In Tibone, there are some kids who are smarter in that stage than other kids, because you can show them a lot of cars and tell them what each of the cars are and bring the cars to them, and they will name all of them. Because that's how the brain connections are, becomes better with images. When you show them, they are able to see. And around that stage, if you are not careful, that is when the tablets become their thing. Because tablets is a BBR wohu. If it's about a lion, they've seen a real lion on the tablet. So around that stage, they are very, very particular about tablets. If you are not careful, you replace tablets with actual human interaction. Into that stage, they are very, very, very destructive. But there, what tablet a phone no because they want to learn. They are hungry to learn. They are hungry to understand the world around them. So even if you want to give them tablets, it should be measured. Our parents, and you won't share in church or on as last time my boy, when he was in that stage, I remember once I was sitting by the TV watching TV. And Obe was, Daddy, teach me what you know that I don't know. Hey, be a mission. YouTube, say Facebook. Hey, I became confused. I didn't even know what to say again. My mind became blank. Because that stage they are very hungry for information. Because it's preparing them for the next stage, which is between 6 and 12. So 7 to 12 or 11 years, 7 to 11 years. That stage is also very, very, 7 to 11 years, very, very important. Right? And that stage, is when, a concrete operational stage. There, that stage, is where they actually become a bit more abstract. And they are starting to develop their logical sense. And they are able to classify and group Nazi. In that time, they've seen a lot, so it's not really imaging, but they now start becoming a bit more independent. Before you realize they are writing things, they are doing this, they are doing that, they are doing that. Right? They become a bit more independent. They are able to, and around that stage, sexual development and morality is very, very important. A lot of kids who become immoral later on, it started around this stage. Right? Development of their moral code, right, is very, very important. Because around that time, they are hungry for information. And they will start asking you 1,001 whys. Where this, why? About a bad no, they want to understand. Go here, why? Bring this, why? Hey, why is this, why is that? Why? This, that, why? But this woman, why did you do? Why the man like 1,000 a day? And if you, the parent, you don't answer their whys, but anytime Obisa why in Abrun are shutting down, what they are doing is that they are hungry for information. You are not giving them the information. Other people and other things will be their source of information. Because that why must be answered. But if you are not answering that question, either their friends will answer for them or their teachers. My teacher says this. My teacher says it, means you are not their primary source of information. You should rather go to school and say, my mother says this. But the moment your child will tell you, my teacher says this, it means that one person, you are not the primary source of their information. It means they are picking that information from somewhere else. And if this stage one go ye, now even they develop around that time, no, that is when teaching them morals is very, very important. Say thank you, say sorry, don't pass it. This, when you do this thing, it's going to affect you this way. You are actually helping them understand the world around them. I realized that almost all the LGBT related things in this stage is where it starts. That's where the confusion starts. Almost every LGBT person I've actually had an interaction with, between the age of 7 and 14, something happened to them. Almost all of them. Because that stage is very important. That is where one environment becomes important. The kids they relate with. because they are picking information from each other. A child may tell that, no, this is not what my mother told me.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this one is not what my father told me. I think last time my daughter came, said, BB. No, my daddy didn't say that. Okay, because now you've given them a certain information, and around that time, maybe catching piano is what they accept as the truth. So that is why societally accepted norms or important. You go to US and stuff, you realize that critical stage, is what they lose by the influence of the media and Hollywood and those movies and stuff. That's very, very critical for the child's development. All the confusions around gender identity started around that time. So the most critical time of any child's development is between the age of the 6 and the 11, or 12, 6 and 12. So 7 to 11 years is the most critical stage. And if you, the parents, do not start paying attention to your child and information, that child doesn't become your friend and doesn't see you as a safe place. Because over Kebiana shutting up, Bibiana Tonach in that stage, when you lose them at that stage, you've lost them forever.
Really?
Because the next phase, which is the adolescent phase between the age of 12 and 19, that one, their brain actually develops rapidly. Yes.
But before the adolescent stage, at which stage do they realize their sexual differences?
Between the age of 6 and 12, age 7 to 11. That is when a child that before 6 years, only the adults will bath. Between that time, will be a bathroom. Not sorry, but no friend or the towel weight channel, or towel weight channel. And they want to actually not sleep with other on the same bed. They want their own bed. Yeah. That's why they start having all kinds of dreams about their own room. So that is where that development of their privacy. Internal, you have to have a conversation with them. Nobody touches you this area. Don't let anybody sit on your lap. It's your private, that kind of thing. Nobody bats. That is very, very critical.
So at that stage, as a parent, can you bath with your child?
It's a big mistake. Even for boys, around that stage, they are preparing for adolescence and stuff. They may secretly enjoy the nakedness of their parents, but parents will not know. Around that stage, that's where I'm in the papa and those things happen those days. Now it still happen. Around that time, it can happen around that stage. Because suddenly, because they are now beginning to understand the world around them. If you're a parent, you stop bathing with your child after 6 years. Okay. Before 6 years, they are really needing to understand many things. So they may even see your nakedness, they may not even understand what that means. But the moment they cross 6 years, you don't bath with them. You start teaching them privacy. When they are even coming to your room, they should knock. And when they are coming to, they should knock. You yourself as a parent, you give them that respect. Ubani changer and stand or you excuse them so that they develop that sense of this is my body, this is my privacy, nobody touches me.
Wow. I think I saw some calls coming in. Sorry, we couldn't pick that. There's so much being downloaded here. We just wanted to soak that in. So the line is 0577 001 1027 0577 001 027. You're still on Empower 102.7 FM, and the discussion going on is parenting and childhood development, and the program is Family Talk. So you can send a WhatsApp, you can give us a call. Our question be the Madog, anything you want to ask, you can do so on the line, and then Doc is here to just help you with it. Okay, Mr.
Very interested in the adolescent stage now.
Right.
After all I've heard.
The brain will develop right from about 3 to 4 weeks in a woman, or start to develop until mid-20s. So until mid-20s, yes.
Okay, so I think we have a caller. Let me just pick this. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Charles from Kotompo.
Right, Charles,
I'm
let's
really
hear.
enjoying the program,
Thank
and
you.
I want to also share my ideas as a concerned citizen here. Of course, the whole issue is about parenting, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and I want to congratulate Doc for this program. God bless him very well for this special program. Some of us I don't have father love because my father has not played any major role in my life. Or it's coming from my mother, and what dog is talking about. If somebody is listening as a father, I think it will really help him. So thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
this
Thank you.
special program.
Right. Thanks for
right.
calling. Right. So, Doug, I think with this question, with a lot of single parenting, for instance, okay, sorry, there's another caller. Let me pick. I think he called earlier. Hello. Sorry, the line dropped.
Yeah.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning,
Thanks for.
and congratulations on this new program.
Thank you.
First of all, let me apologize. I'm coming from an area of ignorance in these areas. Hello.
Yes. Hello. Sorry, I didn't ask your name and where you're calling from.
Oh, my name is Kwame, and I'm calling from Inside.
Right.
Yeah. I'm saying that I'm coming from an area of ignorance. So please excuse me if I say certain things that are not on the line. But I'd like to ask the doctor. You spoke a lot about marriage and the bringing up of children and whatnot. Now, I noticed that comparing black children and white children, comparing white couples and black couples, for me, they are different. But we always try to use the white situation and trying to bring up children and trying to get a good marriage and all that. For example, let's take the children. Once upon a time, it was that when we were in Saito, the teachers did not spare the rod at all. They only licked us and gave it to us. And it only made us better when we do it. If you go to UK, well, Europe, America, they don't do that. And look at the situation, as you yourself give an example of where they stab, they shoot, and all that. Another factor is that the issue of affection, I'm sure, plays a part in bringing up children. And here the thing, in Ghana, we don't show affection. What I mean is, I don't remember the last time my old boy, hugged me when I was growing up. Even my mother didn't hug me that much. But over there, there's a lot of hugging, there's a lot of touching on the cheek and whatnot, and I'm sure that it all helps in, bringing them up to a certain standard of being fit to live within a society. But in Ghana or in Africa, we don't do that. But yet, we want to use the same treatment for the whites, for blacks. Look at the situation where GS, for instance, I'm sorry to go along that path, have banned the training of children. What is now happening? Our children, they now totally disrespect. And it has come about because somebody up there stood there looking at Europe and America and said, can go for India. It's not working for us.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, Is it not about time that we sat down to see that, look, a black child is different from a white child. Therefore, let us bring them up in this way.
Right.
That is my question.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution, Kwamina. Thank you so much. Right. So we would love to also have the WhatsApp line. So you can send us a WhatsApp and I'll read it out. And Doug is here to answer Sorry if I couldn't pick your call. But then, Doc, back to the initial one before this one, the single parenting, because is very important, because especially when you have mothers raising boys, how does that affect as husbands later?
No single parenting is good enough, because kids look up to parents differently. Usually kids look up to mothers for comfort. They look up to fathers for direction, identity. So you see, the book that Yvonne Nelson wrote is still looking for an identity. Who is my source? Where is my source? Right? Very, very important. There will be questions. Recently, my family, for example, my daddy's side, we don't really know them. Right? Because recently, I felt like looking for my daddy. I think my daddy's line. Looks like one of the white guys who came to Cape Coast, came to impregnate my great-great-grandmother. Right? We actually have tracked him. He's in the UK. But he's dead by the family line. So my family line actually is in the UK. The next time the studio on woman tea.
Automatic visa to UK.
So that's my line. At some point we started asking questions. Right? No, some grandfather, some a bad boy kakrama. Name one baby around. Sometimes I ask, maybe say now But it's at some point you want an identity, you want direction, right? And fathers are important. Unfortunately, a lot of fathers did not receive love. The second speaker talked about expressing emotions and affection, right? If a father hasn't received that affection, they don't know how to transfer that to their kids. And the father hugging the child, kissing, especially there's something I call daddy's kiss. Papa kiss your forehead, right? No hug, no kiss your forehead. An amazing. The child feels, very, very, loved and stuff. Fathers expressing emotions to their kids sometimes is even more important than the mothers, because everybody knows that for mothers they will hug you and do those things. So when a father does that, it does a lot of good for the child. Unfortunately, a lot of fathers, when they show up, they are showing up to beat, or to correct, or to discipline. When you are a father and you are coming home and your kids have to run for cover, there's something wrong. They should rather be glad that you're coming home and they should run to hug you. And your kid should be free to come and sit on your laps, or come and wanting to lie on you. It's a sign when your kids are able to do that with you as a father, though you discipline them. And discipline, so I'm shifting to the second about discipline and all that. Right? Beating the child, in Africa we overdo it. In the US and UK they underdo it. That is where the problem is. So those places they underdo it. This place we overdo it. And so the cultural differences amongst the two, whether blacks or white, there are some cultural things that may not be too healthy, right? So if you're a father, you should discipline your child, but you shouldn't overdo it, because when you overdo it, that becomes an abuse. The child will not. And again, you need to be able to discipline your child according to their level of understanding of the issues.
In fact, I that's why I was keen on the adolescent one. So do the adolescence, and then I want us to talk about parenting across these stages. Okay. Then we can know when the discipline comes in, when other things come in. So
in adolescent years, on brain development to quick, very, very fast. They become logical, they become idealistic, they become abstract in their thinking, they become more scientific. So now they're able to understand cause and effect. If I do these are the consequences of that kind of thing. And there are three things that happen in the adolescent, right? The development of their own identity. Who am I? Development of their own worldviews. What is this life about? Development of their independence. How can I unravel things myself? So before 12, they will come and ask you, should I wear this? Should I go for the milk? Should I? The moment they hit 12, now they want to do it themselves. Now or step out, she wants to go without even asking permission. Right? Because they are now transiting to adulthood. A lot of parents cannot handle this stage. Because suddenly, afraba meke don found fade no, or without telling me.
That's when they jump the walls.
Perfect. When you don't have a conversation with them, they now become rebellious. And not because they want to be. Their brain has developed to be independent. Into around the adolescent stage, every child needs acceptance and understanding. Into operatimasi, right? So you don't dictate to an adolescent. You discuss with an adolescent. Before 12, even if you have a conversation, they may not understand. But around the adolescent age, things are running fast. Even their sexual development now start tribobo, horse voice, start the muscles start triba, and around that time, if you lost them between the age of 6 and 12, it shows. Because you were never part of his life between 6 and 12. They unraveled a lot of things themselves. Now that they now really want to live their lives, you want to now come and have some authority over them. They will rebel. You meet any adolescent who is rebellious, you lost them before 12. You were not part of their space. You were not their friend. Now suddenly you show up. And that is when an adolescent man can fight his father. There, okay, into Abruma all my life between 12. Now I'm old now, you be face. When that happens, means there's no emotional connection between you and your child. And that is when they become rebellious. Because you were not his Abruna. Anytime you show that, you were beating him and you were not even around, no emotions, no love, nothing. Now that he even wants to do things by himself, you have now showed up and you want to have a say. They won't listen. They become very rebellious. Until you don't dictate to an adolescent, you discuss with them. Until, for example, Uba girl wash at Trebionye Oziruko Chrome, because or she TV na say girls more dressing, honestly, because you really didn't teach him anything once he was growing up. So you called him, instead of being there, go and remove that child. Are you a bad girl? What are you learning from school? Who are your friends? Is that what we've been teaching you? You are making a big mistake. So whilst you are talking, your adolescent child is analyzing now can't you see what's happening? What is wrong with what happened? Like that. But imagine, so that is dictation. Imagine you call your girl child, who are you? Yeah, Terry, is that what you want to wear today? I want to wear that too. Oh, why? So all my friends are wearing this time. I saw someone on TV wear. They say, this one is too short. See, when you wear short dress to town, this and this and this is what can happen. And so it's impossible to wear something else that is more decent.
And
so
now Peleg is with a chassis.
So you have taught her decency,
right,
by accepting her for what she's thinking about and helping her make sense out of it. Now, anytime she's wearing something, she'll come to you and say, "Mom, is this okay?"
Exactly.
So now she's found a friend in you. Every adolescent will say, "Mommy doesn't understand me, Daddy doesn't understand me." So now they move towards people who understand and accept them. That is why peer influence goes up. In think of secondary schools now, gangs. They think the same way, they dress the same way, they do things the same way. You've lost your child if you don't.
Right. So there's a question here, Doug. I think because of the stage, let me just ask. This is from Kofi from Kwesi Team. He says, I have 2 kids of same ages, boy and girl, that is 7 and 6 years respectively. Is it advisable both bath themselves together? And they will ask me not to also leave the bathroom as they bath. In fact, they even keep me in the bathroom more than necessary.
How old?
6 and 7 years. So there's a boy and a girl. Is it advisable both bath themselves together?
No. Yeah. So they've crossed the stage.
Right.
Now the parents have to teach them. Now have a conversation with them that no, you're growing. This is your privacy. I want to give you privacy. Now the parents have to intentionally teach them and separate the 2 of them. Yeah. So the girl baths, then the boy baths.
Okay.
Yes.
They shouldn't bath together.
No. At that stage, they are. Why can they start to boy? They have to learn, what is private and what is not private.
And then they says that, and they will ask me not to also leave the bathroom as they bath.
Well, so now have a conversation with them why you must leave and why they should bath alone. So that understanding you have to, because they are used to bad thing with you before. So when they are changing over, they need some level of understanding why.
Indeed, dog, for a mother or who probably a girl, for instance, of this age, na osha ebi unchuchine na mutum na nyome ya obetuma ye the man wager.
You have failed as a parent. If at age 6 and 7 they can't bath themselves,
well,
you didn't do a good job. By 6 and 7 they should be able to bath themselves. It means you have failed. It means that now you have to be intentional to teach them. Now, more independent. It's a sign of parental failure.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken about 4 stages of childhood development: 0 to 2 years. That's where they grow with the movement and the touches. 2 to 6 years. That's the preoccupational stage, where imagery, symbolism is very key to their development. We've looked at 6 to 12. That's the concrete operational stage. That's where they lived in the abstract world. They classify and group and they want to become more independent. And then the adolescents, that is where they want to interpret everything that they have learned. Doc, what are the critical, if you are to mention maybe 2 or 3, parenting styles or parenting strategies that are key throughout these development stages? So if every parent is listening, what are the key lessons to take out?
So 0 to 12, create a safe space and let them move. So over Wazy, 0 to 2, over only 2 years, while create space because they will move. Safe space means the ABI they will move towards something that will injure them. They may not even know that to injure them. Into sometimes for baby one, neja go inside, put a lot of toys in there. Not the ones they can swallow, right? Because they can swallow things. So toys, maybe these toys, cars, those things. Not jawan. Number 4, show opinion. And anytime you put a child at your back and they want to get down, it means it's time. They still want to move, so do that. Between the age of 12, age of 2 and 6, get them a lot of things that not just toy, but toys with meaning, and let them play. Toys with meaning mean that maybe time won't be there should be some lesson associated with it. In to casa and a BB, something that they can learn whilst they play, because they have to make that association. Now in their rooms, put a lot of things there, or you can give them books, story books, and those books that has a lot of pictures. It will help them. Then watch the tablet with them whilst you're teaching them. This is a skunk, this is that. I'm telling you this because I do that with my kids. You have to do that. If it's cartoon square and you won't share, right? Because you may be able to teach them a lot, right? And so that stage, and let them play a lot with other kids in the area. Until your parent, find other kids in your area that the kids can play with, and let them have some play with them, right? Then again, between the age of 6 to 12, right? Let them into books now, are something that they can think about themselves. So if it's a storybook or something that they can actually read and think through, if it's maths, around that time they're able to do that themselves. Give them empty drawing books. Let them express themselves in the books. Then again, if you're a parent around that stage, be intentional in your teaching. Teach them morals. Teach them, socially acceptable things. Saying sorry, thank you, those things. Be intentional. Independence. Let nobody touch here and there, that kind of thing. Around that stage, very, very critical. Now, be the friend of your child and be the source of information of your child. It means that whilst you're intentionally teaching them, anytime they have a question, answer. And anytime they have a question, mommy, why this? Don't say you're a bad girl. Oh, go and buy this for me. Why me? They want to understand the world around them. And so be the primary source of their information, so that when they go to school, they can compare what you said with other things, not the other way around. So be their primary source of information and teach them what is moral. And again, to don't affirm the negativities at that stage. Into oba ye bibina sonya, tell them that may ye. Don't keep quiet over it. Don't, because that become their principle. If they beat someone else and you don't talk about it, you are affirming the beating. and they will carry it through their adolescent stage. If you meet bullies in schools and stuff, and they started, they learned it.
Yeah.
Bullying is an expression of, unresolved some emotional problems and what they've been taught. Because around that time, morally accepted things are very important. Then the adolescent stage, just accept them, understand them, and be a friend.
And discuss with them. Don't dictate.
Just you are, so far as you are under my roof. No, but once he's under your roof, you are also under God's roof, the skies.
Exactly.
But you do what you like. So, I am paying the fees, so you read science. No. Daddy, I want to read arts.
Yeah.
Because so as for when I was in JSS, as for science, I don't like. No. You are under my roof, I'm paying the fees, you read in second. No. You are arts. No, I know you want to read arts. It's very, very good. And why do you want to read arts? That this and that and that. Maybe when I was in JSS biology and stuff, I didn't like it. And when I see all these human beings, I don't like it. I think I'm more business and stuff. Then the father, okay, go and do arts.
Yeah.
Or even if you still want them to do science, you can say, science may be the general course you do in secondary school, but in the university, it may give you more opportunity to choose whatever you want to choose. So you read the science, but when you get to the university, you can branch into any art course because it's just the foundation. Daddy, okay.
Yeah.
Say, I'm paying the fees. You will do it. A time will come that if they have any question, they will come because they know that you tell them, you even listen. My mother doesn't listen to me.
Yeah.
That's what they will say. So you actually discuss with them and understand and accept them for who they are becoming, and rather be like a mentor. Someone who will just guide, not dictate.
It's amazing how time flies, but I want this for the last one.
Right, okay.
Just for the last one. And this is directly to parents. Doc, we have busy schedules, busy lives, stressed every day. We go to work, we leave the house sometimes 6 a.m. or before 6 a.m. We come back late in the evening, and our weekends are busy. We are always on some work projects and all that. And we realize that naturally, we can't even find the time for our children. Sometimes we have to sublet this responsibility to house helps, teachers, and other things. We, the parents, those in that situation, what do we do? How do we catch up?
Let me make a statement. If you are too busy, and part of the reason why you are busy is not your kids, it means that you are either doing what God doesn't want you to do, or you just don't know how life should go as a parent.
Hey.
Because think about it, the person who is going to protect your legacy when you are away, you are not busy for. It means your focus, your priorities are not right. Your kids should be part of your priorities. Otherwise, so I am super busy. I'm almost on the run. But you see, I've created space such that at a certain time in the week, I am home and I'm with them. And when I'm home. That's how I am. I'm home. Honestly, the hospital I'm a handover. I'm another doctor. Internal sama. Because that person who is in the hospital has a parent, right? And so you don't carry work home. If you are too busy that part of your business, your kids are not part, then you are just too busy, or you don't have, your priorities are not right. And see, you may have a house but not a home. Now I'm working on a certain project, and almost all my monies are going there. At some point, I say, see, when you get that project done, forgetting that it is the people who are going to benefit from the project, they are not sound enough for the project. It's a wasted project. Because you can't be overly focused on your building or stuff, forgetting that these people, they are growing, and whatever they are becoming, it can become irreversible. So they must be the project whilst other projects come up. Otherwise, in your old years, when you finish whatever you want to finish, and now these same kids are the ones who are supposed to make life comfortable for you, you'll regret it.
Right. I think the time just flew so fast, and I think we have some few minutes. So 0577-001027. If you want to bring one message, one call, you can still do that before Doc sneaks up.
I think we have to.
We have to. Because I think there is so much questions I've not been able to ask. I don't think one of them, because there are a lot of parents out there who say that, well, my kids are at this age now. I have seen some of the gaps that Doc has mentioned. How do I work on it? And where do I pick it from? Okay, it becomes a headache. So, and then we pick up these things, and then Doc can address each of them. Those that needs to go for further consultation can do that. So, I think, like you said,
we have to bring him back. But Doc is not an expert in not only parenting, in child development. He's also an expert in marriage counseling itself, the in marriage, how you can be a delight to your spouse, how you can be sweet eating things to your spouse. He's also an expert in how you can choose the right partner.
Wow!
So I think we have to bring Doc back and have a discussion around these other areas.
Very important.
So we'll work on that.
That would be great. That would be great. So,
Doc, what do you need to come back? We are ready to offer.
It depends on you.
Right, so I think on that note, we'll be running out soon. But then, yes.
If you're a parent,
yes.
if you've realized you've not done well, I think one of the ways back into the hearts of your kids is just to go say sorry. African parents, sorry. Kai, gobo. I remember before my daddy passed, I think one of the days, I think something came up at home, and he was he said a lot to me, which I think was just emotional. It wasn't whatever I was saying should have been said. Right, the next day, this man called me, apologized and hugged me. I still remember. So I'm sorry for what I said. I think I shouldn't have said what I said. African parents, we don't apologize. But you see, one of the ways into anybody's heart is to go back and say, I'm sorry. And that will bridge the gap. Then start doing what you failed to do. You may not recover all, but you recover some. Because we all, parents are also human beings. We go through stuff. If your marriage is breaking away, it will tell on your kids. You are struggling. There's no money. What do? You need to go look for money. You're tired. But those things shouldn't replace a relationship. You can be busy and still have a relationship where you call and check up on them. When you are home, you are home. Those little things. In there, you pet them, they sleep on you. Maybe you come back from work, you are tired. While they are sleeping, you go lie by them before they sleep. Those small things that, kids understand that daddy has to bring money home. Mommy is tired, but it doesn't mean you cannot express some. And if you are a hurting parent, it means you yourself, you need help, so that you don't transfer that onto your kids. Most of the family issues are not generational curses, and that's why most of the prayers around generational curse, almost all the time, on break that. A lot of churches, every time generational curse. Sometimes one throw generational curse for many. You don't really know what to pray again or what seed to sow again. Most of them is not a curse. It's mistakes.
Right.
Transfer of generational mistakes.
Right.
Because no papa and done into him how do bodo. I transfer them hate to the child. Then it continues. So you can break the cycle by just saying sorry and start doing, and don't be too proud to change. If you're a father and you've been doing things all these years and it's not working, just humble yourself and just change.
Right.
Because you may end that cycle in the life of the family.
Right. Excellent conclusion.
Right, so I think on that note, the more doctors, the more I have questions. So I will list them down, and then you can also reach us. If you were not able to send your question, you can do so, and then we would get these questions answered and let you know. The program is Family Talk every Saturday on Empire 102.7 FM, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. And we go into relationship marriage, divorce, anything about family. Today has been parenting and childhood development with Dr. Isaac Newman Atta. And we're hoping to have the second part where we will delve into some areas into marriage and others. So let's be looking forward to that. I think we have the email address. Is dearfamilytalk@gmail.com. So dearfamilytalk@gmail.com. So you can send us an email as well. And then if you want to send a voice note, to me record a text message and as a voice note, WhatsApp and so on. My number is 0246 984691. 0246 984691. So you send it to us. We would gather all the information and all the questions answered and get back to you. Thank you so much for staying with us today. Mr. T, my co-host, please.
I mean, it's been a wonderful discussion.
Right.
And this is what Family Talk is about. So please, 6 to 8 every Saturday. Don't miss this for anything. I mean, we're going to continue next week, maybe with Doc, maybe with somebody else. We would see. But surely next week be with us.
Right. Okay, so I think we have coming up the Mr. himself,
but Doc has to.
Yes, I
Doc,
think Doc,
like
we have
Doc
some 2-3 minutes or 2 minutes.
Doc,
Doc,
acknowledge somebody. You came all the way from Accra.
Doc, give us a shout out.
Yeah.
You have some shout outs. I think he came with the kids as well.
My wife and kids. Yeah,
oh, please.
My shout out to them.
Oh.
And Reverend Frank Bio, ICGC, Watered Gardens. Amazing man. Or a gentleman. My mom pay Adam a gentleman, but me
oh, so full.
And Prophet Patrick. Prophet Patrick. The when you I think the church I forgot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Prophet Patrick is one of the very, very good prophets in Takrady. We used to be in Cape Coast. Very amazing guy. Oh, no, you know wife. I'm sure Reverend Bio no wife. I'm sure.
Yes, Lady
and ICGC Watered Gardens.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so we would come your way again Saturday 6 a.m. To 8 a.m. Please don't forget. Just set the alarm and set a reminder. Thanks so much. We'll see you again. Enjoy your weekend.